welcome. This is Rick the Hidalgo Benya, and this is another episode of the House of Hidalgo show. Today is the 14th episode of our episodic content called the House of Hidalgo show, the God and Wrestling Connection. And today is the 24th day of September 2018. I am a soldier of Yah's army. Okay? And the subject of our discussion today is time to start your ministry. We're going to talk about now that you've got your authentication done, and now that you reviewed all the past videos that I did, and you understand a little bit about who you are and how you're going to act and in what capacity you're going to act. Now it's time to start your ministry. And there's some things for sure you're going to need to start your ministry. We're going to get to those things right after this break. I'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Sewing Cool Stuff and More of Yankton is your one-stop for general alterations, repairs, and custom sewing and sewing classes. Custom projects from baby blankets and memory quilts to jingle and shawl dance regalia dresses, and everything in between. Sewing Cool Stuff and More.
It's all about the blood. Yep, that's the slogan in the ministry I operate and with the products that I buy. Hi, I'm Rick the Hidalgo Benya, and I'm the host of the House of Hidalgo show on YouTube. If you're looking to promote your health with CBD oils, you're looking at a booking. Book greenflowerbotanicals.com for your health needs and use the link provided in the comment section of this video, because doing so will help you cleanse your blood and promote the blood of Jesus to the world. Just join our Healthy for the Blood campaign by ordering through the link below, and a percentage of the sale will benefit my ministry. It's all about the blood. Coming spring 2019 from Southeast South Dakota, a cutting-edge pro wrestling promotion with a purpose. Support this effort now by donating to the Fundly link below this video, or by purchasing any one of our Conversation Starter t-shirts at Teespring. Just click the link below and access our clothing line. And remember, it's all about the blood. Welcome back to the House of Hidalgo show. Thank you for listening to the ads. Those are very important to me. If you have the time to visit those links, please do. If you don't, then go about your day, go about your business. But I would appreciate if you visited those links and gave it some consideration. But anyhow, I'm going to be using the whiteboard today, because I need to demonstrate the difference, or not the difference, but I'm going to need to demonstrate to you the different concepts. And the best way for me to demonstrate it to you is to put it up here on the board. So if you go back to the last 12 episodes of the House of Hidalgo show, and you start to understand your capacity and how you don't want to be a U.S. individual, because that's the presumption that you've been placed under. And basically that presumption exists because you haven't overcome that presumption. But once you overcome that presumption through the authentication process, through the starting of a ministry, which, by the way, I'm replacing the word business with the word ministry, because all we do is unto the Lord. So it's a ministry. So we're looking at, I'm going to create a box. Okay, and this box, I'm going to write in it here. Excuse me. Okay. Foreign Grantors Trust. So, it all starts with a Foreign Grantors Trust. Why a Foreign Grantors Trust? What's the point of having a Foreign Grantors Trust? Well, as I showed in one of my earlier videos, a Foreign Grantors Trust is a kind of trust that is not administered by the United States corporate courts. It's not administered by the courts. It's outside of the jurisdiction of the United States. That is, as long as it doesn't effectively do business within the United States. So as long as you stay without the United States, in other words, in the private, between man to man, or private entity to private entity, that's owned and administered by a man, not under the United States by registration, then you're free to do commerce. All right? So I'm going to shorten this up a little bit here because I'm going to need more room. So here's the Foreign Grantors Trust. Now, when you get a Foreign Grantors Trust, which is something that DigniChat offers, and I'll put their information below as we go along as well. Okay, so you can see it. So you get your Foreign Grantors Trust is going to have a certain kind of number, and I'm going to put that right here. This is the type of number it's going to have. It's going to be a 986. Okay, I'm going to put it in the box. Right? There you go. 986. This is according to all of the IRS manuals. You're going to see that the only number they give out to foreign grantors, to foreign trusts, to foreign estates, to foreign anything is a 98. And the number that immediately follows the dash is a number that corresponds to the type of entity that it is. If it's a trust, if it's an estate, it's a -6 or a -7. Okay? So that's very important to understand, because this is what you're shooting for. When you achieve one of these, you now have a vessel that you can do business with in the private. Now, you're probably not going to want to use this vessel. This vessel, this is my opinion. This is not legal advice. I can't give legal advice. I'm not a legal entity to give legal advice. Okay? But this is my opinion. This is what I do. Okay? This entity is only for administration. So I'm going to put that over here. That's what this entity is for. Okay? That entity, the Foreign Grantors Trust, is for administrative purposes only. It's not going to do any banking in its name. It's not going to do any commerce in its name. What it's going to do is it's going to create some entities. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 arrows. Oh, shoot. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 arrows. Here we go. All right. And these 3 arrows are going to point to the entities that I'm going to describe. The first thing I'm going to describe here, I'm going to draw a box. All right. This is the first entity. Now, you have to have some kind of place where property is stored. So I'm going to talk about an estate. An estate is a great place for you to store property. In fact, that's the point of an estate. An estate is a gathering of all property. That's what it is. So this entity here, we're going to call it estate. This is where you're going. This is just a fictional drawing. I'm showing you how, how it could be done. So you have this estate over here that you would put all property in. So say the Foreign Grantors Trust purchased a piece of property. That piece of property would be transmitted or conveyed in the foreign state's number. Okay, now what kind of number is a foreign state going to have? Well, this is very interesting. A foreign estate, as you know, has to be a -6 or -7. Okay, in order to be an estate. So what you're going to find out is you're going to get a number like this. It's going to be an 83-6. Okay. Then here's another box that we're drawing. These are just ideas. And in this box, we're going to put ministry. And we're not going to put, here we go. I guess I can't, here, let's just take that out of there. I'm going to write that separately so I can center it, because that just really is disgusting. Okay. So this entity we're going to call a ministry, and you notice it's also got an 83 number, but it's a -1. That's because there's not a specific number that's been set aside by the Internal Revenue Service for a ministry. Okay, ministries can be -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. Okay, or even -0. So that's very important for you to understand. And then also what we're going to do is I'm going to draw one more box. And I'm going to call this the conditional box. All right. You come up with some idea of how you want to organize yourself under the trust, under the Foreign Grantors Trust. You come up with another entity that you want to create under it. I can give you an idea of one that you might do. Let's call it an educational trust. Okay. So let's imagine for a second. Let me resize this. Here we go. Let's imagine for a second that your Foreign Grantors Trust decided it was going to do some educational work. Your Foreign Grantors Trust doesn't want to, expose itself to anything legally, okay, or in any way. So it creates an educational trust, and that educational trust can do anything underneath that Grantors Trust, because the trustees of the Grantors Trust are who administrate all of this. It's all administrated by the trustees of this Grantors Trust. So let's go ahead and add that to our administration over here. We're going to put administration of trust by trustees. Okay? There. That way we understand what's going on. So the administration of this trust is by the trustees. So that means that this trust up here administers the estate, administers the ministry, and administrates the educational trust. So it's got a lot of work to do, right? So what might it want to do? Well, there's a million ways you can do this. You can assign certain trustees to, be over these different instruments. Or let's say that you're a big family. Let's say you're like my family. You've got 6 kids, all right? And each kid has a different ministry. Well, there's several ways you can do it. Either this ministry here is the umbrella for all of them, or if they each want their own ministry, you can literally create, other ministries under this one. This can be the umbrella for all these other ministries. So, it's just however you want to set it up. I got to get one more arrow there because I got 6 kids. Okay, there, see? So this ministry can have, it can be the overseer of all these other ministries below it. So how you set it up is totally your business. Okay? But that's the point, is that you're in business now. Okay? So you need to make this thing work however you need it to work. You set it up, you organize it, and you run it. All right? So this is how you begin your ministry. And once you get your ministry going, you're going to find out that you're going to need other pieces. Let me give you an example. Let's say that some of the work that you're doing involves, sports. All right? Sports is something that you can get injured at. Pretty easy, right? So the Foreign Grantors Trust, the trustees get together and they say, we need to create another entity for the sake of the trust. We need to protect it. So in order to protect it, we're going to create this box over here. And this is going to be a medical trust. Call it whatever you want. Okay, it doesn't be called medical trust, but you call it whatever you want. And this medical trust is going to act like insurance for all these other entities. And see, hopefully what you're starting to understand is that if you set this up properly, okay, you get everybody in your family involved at this top level, okay, to administer all these other entities below it. And you get your family members to occupy each of these entities below it. So that now you have this big organization, and you get your cousins, you get your aunts and your uncles and your family 3, 4, 5, 6 times removed. You get them all together into an organization such as this, and you can literally govern yourself. It's true. You can govern yourself. There's no law anywhere on this planet that says that you can't govern yourself privately. What you can't do is be a United States individual or a United States business, whether it's a corporation, an LLP, an individual, any kind of business, sole proprietor, doesn't matter. Any kind of U.S. business. If you're that, you're not going to administer yourself. You're going to be under statutory administration. It's just going to be the way it is. So, you need to organize. We all need to organize. Once you set up something like this, I'm going to move this whole thing. Once you set up something like this, imagine this for a second. Let's say there are 50. Let's just use the number 50. I wish I could make this bigger. I don't know how to make it bigger. Okay, but here's the number 50. Let's imagine that there's 50 of these in existence. Your family, my family, your neighbor's family, your cousin, you know, not your cousin, you know, hopefully your cousin's joining with you, but, you know, the family down the road, the family that you go to church with, the family that you're in a Lions Club with, whatever, okay? I'm not advocating that, but I'm saying it doesn't matter what, you know, we got 50 families, 50 units out there doing this that have organized themselves. Now, you know, first of all, they benefit separately because they've organized themselves and they're already benefiting from the organization, okay? But now, how do they further benefit? Can they benefit in any way by coming together? Actually, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what we're supposed to have in our republic. The 50 states are supposed to be a nation, right? They're supposed to be all hooked together and obeying a certain set of rules that they call the Constitution of the United States of America. Okay? The one that's circa 1787. So what happens if you get 50 families that come together and they form something? What do you call it? What is this? What's this box up here? I'm going to make it bigger because it's obviously a bigger entity, because it contains all 50 of these families that have organized themselves properly. What do you call this big guy up here? You know, might you call it, you know, a nation? Maybe you call it a union. Maybe you call it a state. You know, there's many names you could name this thing up here. But it's a collection of all these houses that have organized themselves like this. Now, when you organize this thing, what do? Right? All these houses that have organized themselves like this, okay, they come together. They delegate certain authorities to this big entity up top. And they say to that entity, you know, we want benefits. These are the benefits that we want. These are the powers that we're giving you. Okay? It's not constitutional government because it doesn't apply to all the people, right? It only applies to some. But it's a form. But it comes together with all these various houses coming together, have already organized themselves. And now you've got this bigger thing, and collectively it has some inertia. You know, and that inertia is that now they can verify one another, right? They can together go and confront the powers that be. See, in my estimation, those of you that are aware of the Q movement, it might clean up the swamp. It might do some amazing things, but it's not going to fix anything. Okay? Because once we've gotten in, you know, the swamp drained and the swamp cleaned, what's going to happen? People are going to revert back to what they've learned. And they've learned things totally improperly. They have no understanding. They have zero clue as to how to organize themselves as to not be affiliated with the behemoth that they created. And this is the sketch that we need to pass on to everybody of like-mindedness so that they can organize themselves like this and come together as houses in a true state, in a true nation, in a true union of houses. Okay? that can have leverage by numbers. See, this is not the socialist democratic idea of let's come together, with the fist drawn and destroy government. No. This is not about destroying government. This is about reestablishing its legitimacy. Government is legit when we, the people, guard it. If we cease to guard it, government becomes illegitimate. It becomes corporate. It becomes what it is today. We are not anti-government. We are pro-good Republican form of government. That's what we are. We understand that each of us have rights that we cannot usurp. Okay? We understand that each of us have, the ability to govern ourselves in areas that we can't make laws for. And yet, we've made laws. We call them statutes in the United States. They're called statutes. And everyone applies them as law, as if they have some standing, when they have no standing to those who are not within the United States. So if you're without the United States, if you're outside of their jurisdiction, if you've stepped into a place where you have a foreign grantor's trust, you have something to administrate your estate, your ministry, your education, your medical situation, all of it. Now you're in the land of freedom. Yes, it's awful that we have to organize ourselves in such a way that the corporation has disinfoed us into absolute oblivion. But they have. And now it's time to come out. And to come out of her, my dear Christian friend, to come out of this Babylonian presumptive system, you're going to have to organize yourself first. Once you've organized yourself and understand how to run your business/ministry, now you have the power. Now, the power rests with you and your skills of administration. Rise up and be the people of Yah. Sleepeth no more, church. And let's be who we have been called to be. May God bless America. May God bless your house. And remember that here at the House of Hidalgo Show, it's always all about the blood. It's what you